Hey, basketball fans, welcome back to Tips and Streams, your go-to spot for the hottest NBA regular season predictions. I'm Kokan, and I'm here to break down today's matchups and give you the edge you need to make the best bets. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like this video. Your support means the world to us. Remember, our channel has no sponsors and relies solely on the love and support of viewers like you. Even a small donation by pressing the thanks button under the video helps us keep bringing you top-notch content every day. Don't forget to share this video with your friends and fellow basketball enthusiasts. And we love hearing from you, so drop a comment below and let us know what you want to see in our forecasts. Your feedback helps us improve and bring you the content you crave. Let's jump right into today's NBA predictions. We've got some exciting games lined up, so stay tuned and let's get that winning streak going. Today we have predictions for 5 NBA games. The first prediction for today is for a game between the Indiana Pacers and Atlanta Hawks. We have a fascinating matchup today as the Pacers and Hawks go head-to-head once again, fresh off their intense Thursday night battle. Honestly, it's tough to beat the drama of these back-to-back games, especially when revenge is in the air. Indiana definitely has a chip on their shoulder after Atlanta snapped a frustrating losing streak against them, pulling off an impressive fourth-quarter comeback to snatch the win. Now, it's time to see how the Pacers respond. The Pacers are currently sitting comfortably in the 5th spot in the East, but they can't afford to relax. With Detroit on their heels, Indiana knows every game counts from here on out. The Pacers' hallmark continues to be their explosive offense, driven by a fast-paced style that Tyrese Haliburton brought over from Sacramento. Last year, Indiana had the second fastest tempo and a top-tier offense, and though this season's numbers have dipped slightly, they're still putting up impressive scoring totals, comfortably placing them among the league's offensive elite. Haliburton, though, is the big question mark heading into this rematch. He's battling a tricky hip injury, and his absence was clearly felt down the stretch in Thursday's loss. The Pacers held their own for most of the game, but crumbled in the fourth quarter, getting outscored 38-24. Pascal Siakam tried to fill that void, pouring in 35 points and showing he can carry the load offensively. Aaron Nesmith also stepped up, but Indiana clearly missed Haliburton's creativity and control, particularly when things tightened late. On the other side, the Hawks remain one of the league's biggest enigmas. They've been a roller coaster ride all season, one night looking unbeatable, the next barely resembling a playoff team. Currently sitting at 29-34, they're comfortably cruising towards the play-in tournament, though a higher playoff seed feels way out of reach. Atlanta's inconsistencies can partly be blamed on a few critical setbacks this year, including the loss of Jalen Johnson to injury and trading away DeAndre Hunter. Without these guys, their depth and defensive stability took a major hit. Still, when you've got Trae Young running the show, there's always a fighting chance. Young, averaging nearly 24 points and over 11 assists per night, remains one of the league's most electric players. But even with his elite talent, the Hawks have failed to find real continuity. Despite speeding up their game dramatically in recent seasons, they're now ranked second in pace. Their efficiency on offense has surprisingly declined, landing them a modest 21st spot in offensive rating. One bright spot for Atlanta recently has been the contributions of newcomers Georges Niang and Caris LeVert. Niang hit big shots down the stretch on Thursday, while LeVert added crucial offensive versatility. These role players are essential if the Hawks are to build off their momentum from the recent win. Trae Young, averaging nearly 24 points and 11 assists per game, can't carry the load alone. They'll need another inspired team effort if they want to repeat their success. Now, about today's game specifically, Indiana will be highly motivated, aiming to bounce back immediately. Historically, the Pacers have owned the Hawks, winning 5 straight matchups before Thursday's slip-up. This previous dominance tells me Indiana understands how to exploit Atlanta's defensive weaknesses, which ranks near the bottom in the league in defensive rating. A major factor, however, remains Haliburton's health. He's listed as questionable with that hip injury, and his presence or absence could swing this game dramatically. If Haliburton suits up, Indiana's offense instantly elevates, making them heavy favorites in my book. Even without him, though, the Pacers have enough firepower, particularly with Siakam's recent hot streak, to give the Hawks trouble. The key for Atlanta will once again be Trae Young's ability to orchestrate and put pressure on Indiana's defense. But can they replicate their late-game heroics from Thursday? Given Atlanta's inconsistency all season, betting on another Hawks comeback seems risky. Considering all of this, I'm confident Indiana won't make the same mistakes twice. Teams rarely lose twice in a row to the same opponent in such quick succession, especially teams as competitive as the Pacers. I fully expect Indiana's offense to bounce back big, overwhelming Atlanta's shaky defense and hitting their stride from the opening tip to the final whistle. My best bet today is confidently on the Pacers lighting up the scoreboard. I'm going with Indiana's total points to go over 121.
Welcome to BetUS, Sportsbook and Casino, your ultimate hub for secure and thrilling sports betting and casino gaming. BetUS is one of the oldest and most reliable online sportsbooks in the U.S., serving millions of clients all over the globe each month. BetUS, trusted for over 30 years, offers huge welcome bonuses, countless betting options, and many deposit and payout methods. Depositing funds is a breeze and safe, with a minimum deposit of just $10. Payouts are fast and hassle-free, beginning at only $50. Choose from various payout options like MoneyGram, couriered check, cryptocurrency, or bank wire. Signing up is quick and easy. For signing up, you can use the link in the description and enjoy a generous 125% welcome bonus of up to $3,000. By signing up using the link in the description, you'll also support us as we earn a small commission from your registration at BetUS. Thank you for supporting us. Join now and start winning.
The second prediction for today is for a game between the Chicago Bulls and Miami Heat. We have the Miami Heat heading to the United Center to square off against the Chicago Bulls, and this one has some serious playoff implications. Two teams with contrasting styles, each trying to carve out a crucial win in the East, should make for a fun one. The Heat are all about defense, sitting 7th in the league in defensive efficiency, with Bam Adebayo anchoring the paint and their slow, methodical pace, 3rd slowest in the league. They're built to grind teams down. They're not flashy, but they do the job by forcing tough shots and controlling things. On the other end, Tyler Herro is the engine that keeps this offense running, dropping 23.8 a night while keeping defenses honest from deep. Terry Rozier adds another layer with his ability to create and score, but the big question is the injury report. Miami's a little banged up, and on the second leg of a back-to-back, fatigue could be a real factor. Meanwhile, the Bulls are coming in riding high after that wild 125-123 road win over Orlando. They love to push the tempo, ranking 3rd in pace, and aren't afraid to let it fly from deep, 2nd in the league in three-point attempts at 43.1 per game, hitting at a solid 36.6% clip. Kobe White is proving he can knock M down consistently, and Nikola Vucevic is stretching the floor at over 41% from beyond the arc, which could pull Bam out of his comfort zone. That's a wrinkle Miami's defense has to deal with. The Bulls are also getting solid minutes from Mattis Buzelis, who's gaining confidence and growing into his role, while Josh Giddey's playmaking has been a key ingredient in keeping the offense flowing. Now, Chicago's Achilles heel? Defense. They're one of the weaker squads on that end, and if Miami can take advantage of those lapses, they'll keep this one tight. The Heat, despite their defensive identity, have been surprisingly decent at hitting the over this season. If the Bulls dictate the tempo, this could turn into a high-scoring affair. Looking at the way things are shaping up, I'm rolling with the Bulls here. Miami's dealing with the second game of a back-to-back, which is never ideal, and Chicago's been covering spreads like clockwork lately. They're coming off a confidence-boosting win, playing at home, and if they start knocking down threes early, Miami might struggle to keep up. I like the Bulls to get it done, and I'm also leaning toward the over. It just feels like the kind of game where both teams put up points. Let's see if Chicago can ride this wave and cash in another strong performance. Before we move on, I have a quick favor to ask. If you're enjoying the content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Subscribing might seem like a small action, but it actually makes a big impact for us. Plus, it's completely free for you. Have you clicked that subscribe button? Awesome, thank you so much for your support. Now let's dive back into the video. The third prediction for today is for a game between the Orlando Magic and Milwaukee Bucks. The Bucks are on fire right now, looking like the juggernaut we all expected them to be. They're cruising with a 4-game win streak and have all the momentum. Milwaukee is locked in, and when they're in this kind of form, it's hard to see any team slowing them down. Meanwhile, Orlando is in a tailspin. 5 straight losses have seen them fall from early season playoff hopefuls to barely hanging onto a play-in spot. This one's shaping up to be another rough night for the Magic, especially given how the Bucks have dominated them all season. Milwaukee took a while to hit their stride this season, but now that they have, they're scary good. Sitting fourth in the East with a 37-25 record, they just crushed Dallas by 30 points, showing they can blow teams out when they're firing on all cylinders. Giannis is playing like an MVP candidate, averaging 30.8 points, 12.1 rebounds, and 5.9 assists, while Damian Lillard is balling right alongside him, putting up 25.5 points and 7.2 assists a night. The Bucks are getting it done at both ends, ranking 9th in defense and 12th in offensive efficiency. What's really dangerous for the Magic? Milwaukee's shooting from deep. They're second in the league in three-point percentage, which means if Orlando doesn't lock down those shooters, the Bucks could start raining threes and blow this game open early. Orlando has to make defending the perimeter a priority, or else they'll be playing catch-up all night. On the other hand, Orlando has hit a major skid. They were looking like a legit contender in the East earlier in the season, even sitting in the top 4 at one point. But now they're 29-35, sitting 9th, and the losses just keep stacking up. Their most recent gut-wrenching defeat came to the Bulls, a 125-123 heartbreaker that summed up their struggles, close, but no cigar. 3 of their last 4 losses have been by 6 points or less, which shows they're still fighting, but that's little comfort when you're trying to secure a playoff spot. Injuries have really derailed their season. Paolo Banchero missed 2 months, Franz Wagner sat for a month, and now Moritz Wagner is done for the year. Even with the return of Banchero and Wagner, the Magic just can't seem to put it all together. They've got a top-tier defense, ranking second in defensive efficiency, but their offense has been a disaster, sitting third worst in the league. They're averaging just 108.6 points per 100 possessions, which doesn't bode well against a Bucks team that can put up points in a hurry. And then there's their road woes. Orlando has lost 5 straight at home, and they've been even worse away, with an 11-19 record on the road. What makes it worse is that this is only their second road game in the last month. They've been comfy at home, but now they're stepping into Milwaukee, where the Bucks have been dominant all year. Not an ideal situation for a team already struggling. Milwaukee has owned this matchup, sweeping the season series 3-0, including a 29-point beat down the last time these teams faced off. The Bucks have the size, speed, and shooting to make things miserable for Orlando. Adding Kyle Kuzma gives them another solid defender to throw at Banchero and Wagner, and Lillard has absolutely torched Orlando this season, averaging 29 points per game against them. Meanwhile, the Magic's backcourt has been quiet, with Cole Anthony and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope combining for just one 20-point game in the past month. If none of their guards step up to challenge Giannis and Lillard, this game could turn into a blowout real quick. Orlando's defense might keep them in it for a bit, but they just don't have the offense to match Milwaukee. The Bucks are playing their best ball of the season, while Orlando's barely staying afloat. With Milwaukee's 21-9 record at home and Orlando's struggles on the road, I don't see this going any other way than another solid win for the Bucks. I'm all in on Milwaukee to take care of business and cover the 6.5-point spread. The Magic just don't have the firepower to hang with the Bucks, and I'm confident this will go just like the previous 3 matchups. Let's take the Bucks and cash that ticket. The fourth prediction for today is for a game between the Los Angeles Lakers and Boston Celtics. The Lakers are hitting the road to face off against the Celtics in what promises to be a thrilling matchup. LA's been on fire lately, rolling through 8 straight wins, and they've been looking like one of the most dangerous teams in the league. They've been flexing their muscles, winning 18 of their last 21 games, and with Luka Doncic now on the roster, they're absolutely loaded for the future. In their recent game against the Knicks, the Lakers pulled off a gritty comeback, erasing a double-digit deficit in the fourth quarter to force overtime. Luka was huge in that one, dropping 32 points, 12 assists, and 8 boards, with LeBron also coming through with 31 points. Together, they've been a dynamic duo, showing just how lethal they can be when they're firing on all cylinders. What's really stood out for the Lakers, though, is how they've tightened up defensively. Despite losing Anthony Davis, they've somehow managed to become the league's top defense over the past 10 games. Sure, they might only be 18th in offense during that stretch, but it's the D that's been winning them games. The Lakers are playing smart, physical defense, and it's been enough to propel them to this hot streak. But going into Boston, it's going to be a real test. The Celtics are on a roll too, coming into this game with a 3-game winning streak. Their most recent win against the Nuggets was especially impressive, as they shut down Denver's high-powered offense, keeping them way below their usual production. After that, they handled the Blazers, with Peyton Pritchard and Derek White putting on a show. Pritchard went off for 43 points, and White wasn't far behind with 41, setting an NBA record for the most three-pointers made by teammates in a single game. That just shows how deep the Celtics are. Anyone can go off on any given night. Jason Tatum is playing at an MVP level, and when he went for 35 points against the Sixers, it was clear that he's more than capable of carrying this team. Boston's offense runs through the three ball, and they're the best in the league at shooting them. The Lakers are going to have to step up their perimeter defense because the Celtics will look to exploit that area. With shooters like Tatum, Pritchard, and White, they can light it up from deep, and that's going to test LA's defense in ways they haven't been tested recently. It's going to be a battle of defensive schemes, and Boston's depth might just tip the scales in their favor. Looking at this matchup, I'm leaning toward the Celtics. They've proven time and again that they show up in big games, especially when they're at home. Playing at TD Garden is never easy, and with the depth and firepower they've got, I think they'll be able to handle the Lakers' challenge. The Lakers are hot right now, no doubt, but playing against a team like Boston, who's clicking on all cylinders and can get scoring from everywhere, is a different beast. The Celtics have the advantage here, not just with their talent, but with their experience in these big moments. In terms of injuries, both teams are dealing with some bumps and bruises. The Celtics have a few key guys on the injury report, including Jaylen Brown, Al Horford, and Kristaps Porzingis, but I'd expect most of them to suit up. On the Lakers side, Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura are nursing injuries, but it hasn't really slowed them down much recently. At the end of the day, I'm taking the Celtics to win and cover the 6-point spread. They're playing at home, they've got the depth, and they've been showing up in the big games all season. The Lakers have been great, but this will be a tough spot for them. I just don't see them getting past Boston's firepower, and the home crowd is going to give the Celtics that extra edge they need to pull it off. The fifth prediction for today is for a game between the Detroit Pistons and Golden State Warriors. This Saturday's game between the Golden State Warriors and the Detroit Pistons has the makings of a thrilling matchup. Both teams are coming in hot, and while the Warriors have been playing some solid basketball at home, the Pistons have emerged as one of the most surprising teams this season. Golden State has been rolling since they added Jimmy Butler to the mix, and it's clear his presence has been a game changer for them. He's given them another go-to scorer, which takes a lot of the pressure off Stephen Curry. The Warriors have won 3 straight at home and seem to be hitting their stride, with Curry's shooting and Butler's all-around play leading the way. On top of that, the Warriors have been getting it done defensively, too, ranking second in the league in defensive rating over their last 12 games. The chemistry between Butler and Draymond Green has worked out better than expected, and that's going to be tough for any opponent to handle. Now, Detroit is coming into this one with a ton of confidence. They've been one of the most pleasant surprises this season, sitting pretty in the Eastern Conference. Their defense has been lights out, ranking second in defensive rating over the past month. With Cade Cunningham leading the charge, averaging 25.5 points and nearly 10 assists, the Pistons have a real superstar in the making. On top of that, they've got great veterans like Tobias Harris and Tim Hardaway Jr., who have really helped elevate this team. Adding guys like Dennis Schroeder and Malik Beasley has only deepened their roster, and with Jalen Duren continuing to develop, Detroit has become a team that can hang with anyone. The key to this game will be Detroit's defense and rebounding. They've been a top team in both categories, and if they can limit Golden State's second-chance opportunities, they might just have a shot at pulling off the upset. But here's the thing, Golden State's offense is on another level right now. Between Curry's shooting and Butler's ability to do everything on the court, the Warriors are an absolute juggernaut when they get going. And let's not forget about their depth. Guys like Buddy Hield and Brandon Podziemski can step up and knock down big shots at any moment. I'm expecting this game to be high scoring, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if both teams crack 120 points. Golden State has been lighting up the scoreboard lately, and Detroit has been right there with them, especially on the road. They've been putting up points in bunches on their recent trips, and with both teams playing fast and executing in transition, the over on the total points feels like the play here. When I look at everything, the pace, the scoring potential, and how both teams have been clicking offensively, I'm all in on the total points going over 231.5. It's going to be a fun one, no doubt, but if I'm placing a bet, that's where I'm putting my money.